transfer of the custody of Ramil Madriaga. Of course, we acknowledge the significance of addressing the concern of Conchel Jokno about the safety of Ramil Madriaga. Especially, he's being considered as a very important witness of the complainant. And we acknowledge also that we have a power to take protective custody. However, this must be addressed in consonance with the existing laws and rules. And what is apparent right now, gustuhin man namin na i-take yung protective custody over the person of Madriaga, the jurisdiction belongs to the court. So, the action to the request of Madriaga has to be with the conformity of the court. Hindi pwedeng kami lang ang magdesisyon. I will be deferring to the justice member of Conchel Jokno for transfer of custody.
Okay, magandang, I decided to start the live with just some sound bites which were given about 2 hours ago by Congresswoman Luistro regarding the custody of Ramil Madriaga. However, I'm sure everybody is waiting for our comments on the filing by VP Inday of her answer. Let's begin again. Let's clarify. So, nag-umpisa tayo with some comments from Congresswoman Jervil Luistro about the custody of Ramil Madriaga. It appears that the Committee on Justice will still defer to the court on whether or not the transfer of custody of Mr. Madriaga can be effected and if he can be transferred to the House. So it will still be up to the court which has jurisdiction over the kidnapping case. Tama dito si Congresswoman Luistro. However, whether or not the court or how the House of Representatives will make manifestations before the court will depend entirely on the vote that the Committee on Justice will be taking. The Committee on Justice will be meeting on the 18th of this month. That's 2 days from now. Okay, next. So today, Vice President Inday Sara Duterte has filed an answer. Now, why is this causing waves? Because many believe that the traditional wisdom would dictate that she no longer participate in the proceedings in the House, given the recent actions of some members of the Committee on Justice, such as, but not limited to, the manifestations and motions that have been made, for instance, by Congressman Chel Jokno. Congressman Jokno first made a motion asking for the transfer of custody of Mr. Madriaga, as we had discussed earlier, to the Committee on Justice and to the House of Representatives, where he can be, where his custody can be taken over and where he can be detained. The Committee on Justice has not yet made any decision on this matter, so I assume that a vote will be taken on the 18th. In the meantime, today was the deadline, well, actually yesterday, but under the rules of court, if the deadline of a pleading for submission or any action required of a party in an ongoing case falls on a weekend or on a holiday, the date due will be the next working day. So today was the date due for the filing of the answer of Vice President Sara. What is this answer? This will answer the allegations made in the complaints of which the House of Representatives has taken cognizance. So it is the two complaints, complaint number 3 and complaint number 4, which VP Inday has answered, apparently. Now, the answer is filed ad cautelam. What does ad cautelam mean? It means with caution. It is Latin for with caution or for safety's sake. It is usually a precaution, a precautionary legal maneuver used by lawyers to preserve the rights of a person while at the same time making sure that they are not unduly prejudiced or that they are prejudiced, okay, by appearing in court. Ganito. If, for instance, a respondent to a case believes that no jurisdiction vests with the court in which they have been called, then it would be consistent with their stand not to appear and not to recognize that jurisdiction. However, in order to prevent being defaulted or any other negative outcome from refusing to appear, then the appearance can be made ad cautelam to make sure that you have covered all the bases. So, for example, it can prevent default in a civil case. So, in civil cases, if you don't show up, if you don't answer, then you will be defaulted and the case will be decided solely on the submissions to be made by the complainant. So, the answer today was filed ad cautelam. Ad cautelam, again, to reiterate, means with caution in order to preserve yung standing nila to be able to, they will be answering so that they won't simply be controverting. Okay. Anong nakalagay doon sa rules ng 19th Congress on the conduct of impeachment proceedings? In the rules, if a respondent does not file an answer, then the allegations made in the complaint will be controverted. Meaning, dini-deny lang, but these will be bare denials. And upon evaluation by the Committee on Justice, then they can make a decision to recommend the filing or non-filing with the Senate Impeachment Court of the cases filed against the VP. Okay. Ibig sabihin, yung magiging rekomendasyon ng Committee on Justice ay mababase lamang doon sa mga submissions ng mga nagrereklamo even if i-deny ni VP Inday ang mga alegasyon na ito. So, hindi pa natin alam. In fact, wala pang nagre-report sa ngayon kung ano ang nilalaman ng kasagutan ni VP Inday. Gayunpaman, magmi-meeting pa lang ang Committee on Justice sa 18th, day after, ano ba ngayon? 16, so not tomorrow but the day after tomorrow. So yon, in that instance, we will find out what her answers contain. Pero ito ang most likely na nilalaman yan. Number 1, i-deny niya ang mga alegasyon na naandun sa reklamo. She will be denying the allegations made in the complaint. Number 2, she will set up her defenses. Ibig sabihin, hindi lang i-deny, pwede siyang sumite ng ebidensya na pinabubulaanan ang mga alegasyon na ito. Pangatlo, maaari din niyang i-set up yung iba independent na depensa na hindi binibring up ng kabila. O halimbawa, yung lack of jurisdiction. Pwede pa rin i-allege ni VP na kahit na mayroon na itong mga defenses na to, kahit hindi ito totoo dahil ito yung sagot, hindi totoo yung misuse ng pondo, halimbawa ng confidential funds dahil wala pang kasagutan, wala pang final decision ang COA o ang hukuman which she can resort to, and therefore hindi pa po pinal ang findings ng disallowances na ginawa. So, these are defenses na maaaring ilagay o isumite ni VP Inday doon sa kanyang kasagutan. Ang isang posible din na ginagawa niya ay hindi niya isusumite lahat ng available na ebidensya niya, pero magsusumite siya ng mga mahahalaga. Na, number 1, dun sa pagkikwestiyon ng jurisdiction ng ng Committee on Justice and the House of Representatives base dun sa unang reklamo na na-receive ng February 2. Maaari niyang i-set up yung defense na February 2 marks the tolling of the one-year ban kung kaya't hindi na dapat nagtanggap ng ibang mga reklamo dahil kahit na pinawalang bisa ng Committee on Justice ang unang reklamo, kailangan pa rin i-acknowledge na ito ay isang impeachment complaint. So, maaari rin niyang questionin ang mga iyon. Therefore, it is also possible na mayroon siyang mga nire-reserba na ebidensya kung sakasakali lamang ito ay umakyat doon sa Senate Impeachment Court. Okay. Bakit nagugulat ang mga tao? Conventional wisdom dictates na hindi na siya sumagot dahil doon sa mga galawan o aksyon ng ilang mga miyembro ng Committee on Justice, tila tinutulak nila talaga ang bounds kung ano ang pwede o hindi pwedeng gawin ng House of Representatives. Tulad halimbawa ng pag-i-issue ng mga subpoena for opening of bank accounts and production of SALNs. Normally sa Bank Secrecy Act, maaari ang impeachment proceedings ay maging venue para ipagbukas ang bank accounts, hindi maliwanag kung may power ang House of Representatives to do so. Okay. So, yun pa lang so far. So, in spite of the conventional wisdom, nag-file po ng answer si VP Inday, which is a conservative approach. Ito ay naniniguro na nakareserba pa rin ang karapatan nilang questionin ang jurisdiction ng House of Representatives gawa nga ng iba't ibang mga pangyayari nito, possible grave abuse of discretion. Pinipreserba nila yung karapatan nilang questionin ang mga ito while at the same time sumasagot sila at nagpipresenta sila ng ebidensya nang sa gayon may possibility pa na mai-dismiss ng Committee on Justice at magrekomenda sa plenaryo ang Committee on Justice na huwag nang ituloy ang naturang mga reklamo o ituloy ito sa Senado gawa ng kakulangan ng ebidensya. Ngayon, even if the Committee on Justice recommends the dismissal of the impeachment complaints, the plenary can overrule it with a 1/3 vote. Okay? So, ngayon, tanggapin po namin ang inyong mga katanungan. Tinatanong ni Chester, COA-BOL ba ang confidential funds? Yes, meron joint memorandum circular that was issued which gives the guidelines of what can and cannot be reported in relation to both confidential and intelligence funds. Sabi ni Lyndon, yung impeachment po, di ba dapat covered niya yung period na nag-serve yung official as impeachable officer? Yung years na mayor si VP ISD, covered po ba yon? Sinabi na ng Korte Suprema na hindi. So, kasi sa SALN, they're questioning 2008. Yun nga po. So, kung i-grant halimbawa yung motion na i-produce yung mga SALNs from 2028, magiging basehan yan to question on the ground of grave abuse of discretion. So, pinaalala ni Ma'am BM, yung minority block, now na sosali na sa minor. Okay. Ang nangyari is today, nag-issue din ng, may lumabas na news report tungkol sa National Unity Party, tama ba yan? NUP. Okay, ang NUP a few weeks ago, nag-announce sila na hindi na sila interesado na ipatuloy or bumoto in favor of the impeachment of Vice President Inday Sara. Ang basehan nila ay wala naman daw bago na ina-allege doon sa mga reklamo kung kaya't at napawalang bisa na nga ang impeachment last year. Therefore, ang tingin nila is there is no more reason to participate or to to push for the impeachment of VP Inday. Sabi nila, pwede pa naman sila ma-persuade na sumali kung sakasakali may bagong ebidensya o bagong mga aligasyon dito. Now, recently, lumabas na kinakausap nag-issue ng parang mass text message sa ilang mga miyembro ng Kongreso, especially members of the NUP, na kung mayroon daw mga issue sila sa mga proyekto from the 19th Congress and up to the present, doon sa kung mayroon po daw mga due o may mga issues tungkol doon sa kanilang mga pinangakong proyekto, ay sumangguni lamang doon sa House Secretariat, particularly na doon sa Secretariat ng Speaker. Okay. At naging maliwanag na si Congressman Sandro Marcos ay on the forefront of rallying the vote against Sara Duterte. Nagkaroon pa nga ng malawakang rumor o malawakang pagkakalat ng rumor na nag-birthday daw si Congressman Sandro out of the country at maraming inimbita ng mga kapwa kongresista with the end in view of getting their votes for a Sara impeachment. Hindi natin pa nakikita kung mayroong follow-up dun sa kwento na yon. Gayunpaman, maliwanag na kanina base dun sa report, sabi ng NUP, chair, si Congressman Puno, ay tila hindi sila satisfied sa liderato ni Congressman Bonji D. At sinasabi at nagiging basihan niya ay yung hindi pagpapatupad sa mga pinangakong mga proyekto. Clearly, this is a question now of fulfilling the promises made in the 19th Congress. Sa 19th Congress kasi, upang makakuha ng sapat na mga signatures para ipirma yung impeachment count, kumbaga para maituloy yung impeachment ni VP Inday doon sa Senado, ay kinailangan nilang mag-overpromise. Sinisingil sila doon sa di umanong mga pinangako nila at isa itong national NUP na naniningil. Kumalat na nga ang balita na ito bago pa nag-file ng mga impeachment complaints or bago natanggap ang mga impeachment complaints ng mga observers at sinasabi, nako, mayroon pang mga for later release na hindi daw natupad at mayroon din daw pong mga proyekto na hindi na nag-materialize, lalong-lalo na nung nagbago ang House Speaker. So, 41 members po ang NUP. Ayon kay Congressman Puno, mag-uusap-usap pa daw sila nitong Holy Week, magmi-meeting-meeting sila at titingnan niya kung ano ang pulso ng mga miyembro ng NUP. Pero solid 41-person block yan. Makakaapekto or posibleng makaapekto ito doon sa vote count whether or not ma-impeach si VP Inday at maituloy yung kaso sa Senado. Sabi ni Strictly, i-announce po ba kung ano yung details ng sagot ni VP Sara sa impeachment complaint sa kanya para mabasa natin or COJ magdi-disseminate nun? Well, ang tingin ko dyan is it's really up to the respondent, yung panig ni VP Sara, kung sila po ay magdi-distribute ng mga kopya nun. Pero maaari din po itong gawin ng Committee on Justice. Posible rin po na wala sa kanilang mag-release ng kopya pero malalaman natin kung anong nilalaman nito kapag nilabas na ang rekomendasyon ng Committee on Justice. Can you give an example sa case ni VP na nag-phishing ang HOR? Yung bank deposits, bank accounts. Unang-una, may allegation, supposedly na may graft and corruption. May allegation ng misuse ng confidential funds. May allegation na how suspicious naman daw na tumaas ang net value ni VP Inday in the period of over 18 years from the time that she was mayor until this present time na vice president siya. Those are allegations. Those allegations are not supported by any evidence. Yung confidential funds, even if there are disallowances, it doesn't mean that she is the one who benefited from those disallowances. Furthermore, a disallowance does not imply a criminal act. There is no malice. There's no criminal malice or criminal intent. There is even the opportunity to return the funds if the funds were inappropriately spent. So, kailangan pa kulang na kulang sa ebidensya yan. So, the mere increase in the assets of a public official needs to be explained before it can become evidence of any wrongdoing or unexplained wealth. Okay? So, in this case, wala talagang ebidensya of any sort ng graft and corruption. Walang nakalagay doon sa kanilang ebidensya na mayroon siyang tinanggap. Ang sinasabi nila, may anomalya dito, may anomalya dan. May suspected anomalya kasi tumaas ang amount ng assets niya. Those are not evidence. They do not prove the act committed. And what is the act committed? The receiving of ill-gotten wealth. The receiving of government funds that were converted to private funds or spent by a person in their private capacity. So, yun, maliwanag na phishing yan. So, sabi ni Atbayan mo, drama lang ang NUP, loyalty check sa mga members nila. Posible din po yun. Ang ibang teorya dito ay posibleng nagpapapresyo daw ang NUP, meaning nagpapataas ng presyo. Pwede silang nagne-negotiate na ano yung mga proyektong makukuha namin dito. May utang pa nga kayo. Kung di kayo magbibigay, dead man na kami. Posible yun. Can VP challenge yung pagsapina ng bank accounts? Yes, she may. She can actually take it to a higher court, to the Supreme Court. Of course. Sabi ni Izon, bibigay din ba sa prosecution ang kopya ng reply ni VP? Actually, siya na po ang nagbigay ng kopya doon. At pagdinig ba ng COJ tungkol dito ay gagawing public hearing? Kung public so far, hindi ko po nakikita na magbabago sila. Wala pong additional comments dito sa kabila. Sabi ni Zyrel, paano pag nag-hearing na sa Senado ang impeachment ni VP tapos na tige si BBM? Okay, paulit-ulit itong katanungan na ito ha. Ganito po yon. Kapag undergoing impeachment si VP Inday at may mangyari maging incompetent ang Pangulo o may mangyari that will render him unable to dispense his functions as President, since she is still the Vice President, then she becomes the President. And madi-dissolve yung impeachment proceedings because the impeachment proceedings were filed against a vice president. The moment that BBM no longer is capacitated, that is the moment she becomes the president. So down to the second, which means, ayun, madi-dissolve ang impeachment proceedings because they are filed against the vice president. She will then already be the president. Gusto nilang i-impeach, they will have to file an impeachment against the president. So, sabi ni Lindon, yan output po ba ng COJ sa impeachment ay committee report? Recommendations po. Para ma-overturn yung report, need po ba ng majority sa plenary? 1/3 vote. applicable kaagad yung 1/3 vote. Sabi ni Piping Dilat, and the HOR still say that there are grounds to go ahead with the impeachment of VP Sara, and yet throughout the BBM impeachment, which has more evidence of the more than 1 trillion plunder. Sabi ni Ting Fung, and people owned by Razon Enrique, the richest person in the PH. I don't know about owned, but certainly a major sponsor. Sabi ni Sniper, yung unang impeachment filed before the 1-year ban rule, di ba dapat yung mga kasunod hindi na dapat? Yun nga po ang posibleng maging grounds para sabihin ni VP Inday na wala ng jurisdiction ang Committee on Justice and the House of Representatives. Dahil nga nag-start na yung 1-year ban from the moment na inaksyonan yung first impeachment complaint, from the moment of its dismissal. Sabi ni Perlito na wala na yung mandato ng mga lawmakers na priority gumawa ng mga relevant na mga batas, na focus na lang sila sa mga pondo at maleta, easy money kasi. Wala pong dagdag na komento dito sa kabila. Para dun sa mga nanonood sa atin sa TikTok, huwag pong kakalimutan tap po, like and share din nitong live. Meron tayong gift goals. Usually that means na nag-extend tayo for TikTok alone kapag nami-meet yung mga gift goals. May connection ba yung budget for UN seat ni BBM sa viral statement ng isang Japanese human rights NGO? No, kasi nauna po talaga yung paglalaan ng pondo. Sasagot po ba si VP? Sir, sumagot na nga po kaya po tayo nagla-live ngayon. Nag-file po ng answer si Vice President Inday Sara doon sa mga reklamo na inihain sa kanya in accordance with the 10-day period. Today po yung due at nag-file siya at 4:30 this afternoon. Sabi ni Piping Dilat, nakabalik na ba yung nating presidente, Lintek, who is running the country right now? It's the executive secretary po. No. Sabi ni Winston, di po mapupunta yan sa Supreme Court because they're the last arbiters. Not necessarily. Because it is not the higher court to the impeachment court. The Supreme Court gets a say only in matters of grave abuse of discretion. Hindi po siya appellate court to the impeachment court. Can Sara Duterte's lawyers use the 18 Marines affidavits about the alleged maleta to raise grave abuse of discretion before the Supreme Court and question the impeachment proceedings? They can if it tends to prove that these impeachment proceedings were the beneficiary of maleta, or members of this Committee on Justice were beneficiaries of the maleta for that purpose. Okay? So, kailangan patunayan yon. Sabi ni Ma'am Thea, assuming maglabas ng TRO ang Supreme Court sa pagpapalabas ng bank records but HOR threatens the bank, then posible that the bank will submit to the HOR pa rin. Once the Supreme Court has taken cognizance or jurisdiction over the case, wala nang ikakatakot ang bangko. And it's happened before. Hi KAMR, you're welcome. Okay. Hindi ko po alam kung sino yung tinutukoy ninyo, Luliat Bellar. So at 4Universe, I think lang ha, they probably used the same tactics from the Confi hearing about the rules. Do you guys remember what they did to the rules as they go along? Sa tingin ko lang ha. It gives the VP kasi an opportunity to take the matter to a higher court and either defeat the proceedings or delay it to the point na hindi nila siya mai-impeach until, ayun na nga, matatakot na masyadong malapit sa election yung proceedings. May sinabi ba si Kong Terry Ridon? Thank you, Miss Marisa. Okay, kung wala na pong katanungan, wala na bang katanungan? You're welcome kay Dayday Bungubong. Sabi niya, thank you for being the truth always. Actually, nauna lang tayo mag-live kesa dun sa iba. Hi, Miss Melody, who is in Doha. Miss Marisa, thank you very much for the bibingka. Hindi ko alam kung sino yung kinuhang guest ng Bilyo kanina. Dala. Huwag niyo naman ako patrabahuhin. Can you just tell me? Don't make me look for it. Kasi paano ako makakasagot ng maraming katanungan kung nagaganyan pa kayo, di ba? It's a matter of record. If you don't want to mention the name, nako. Sabi ni Armil, Ma'am, ano masasabi niyo sa statement ni Claire? Unti-unti na niyang binabanatan boss niya. Hindi ko po alam kung anong sinabi niya. You'll have to tell me. Meron na po, Shai, meron na pong sagot, final ng 4:30. Sabi ni Ronix, attorney, political na kasi ang labanan dyan. So kung aabot yan sa Senate, doon na lang ilabas ni VP mga defense niya. Well, nag-file na po siya ng answer. So I think that whatever our advice would be, medyo late na yan. Sabi ni Nel, magandang gabi. Ang sa amin lang po, 100% po kaming magpapamilya na Duterte. Ano mangyayari pag di sinagot ni Inday ang impeachment? Moot na po kasi sinagot na po niya. Ang nakalagay sa rules is the allegations made in the complaint will be controverted, meaning parang dininay niya lahat, pero hindi naman siya nagsumiti ng ebidensya. So yung rekomendasyon ng Committee on Justice ay magiging base lang doon sa mga isusumite kung sakasakali ng complainant. Sabi ni Ms. Zara, I saw the trust rating survey. They're trying to impeach VP for betrayal of public trust, pero siya pa din ang most trusted politician. Totoo yan. I think na dun sa explanation parang pinalalabas na maraming puntos ang nabawas pa rin kay VP at umangat daw si Presidente Marcos, pero ang tingin ko dyan is hindi pa kasi nasasama ang mga observations ng taong bayan tungkol dito sa sa nangyayaring giyera sa Middle East. Si Lovely Granada yung guest sa The Spokes earlier fighting disinformation. Sino ba yung hosts? Hindi ko naman kilala yung taong yun. Sabi ni Garcia, hoping na di matuloy ang impeachment, ang laki ng problema ng bansa at buong mundo. Sa gasolina, unawain-nawa ng gobyerno natin ang problema, ayun na nga eh. So ibig sabihin tataas at mukhang papayagan na nila na magtaas ang rates ng kuryente at dahil magsa-summer na tataas din ang rates ng tubig. So iniintay ko nga ang pagtataas ng presyo ng pagkain at unti-unti na pong umaakyat 'yan. So sa ngayon, Marso harvest season pa, medyo mamura-mura pa ang bigas. Pero aabutin tayo sa punto na kakailanganin na natin mag-imbak dahil mahal na masyado. So kailangan talaga inaasikaso ng administrasyon ang pagkokonekta ng mga magsasaka natin doon sa kanilang merkado. hindi yung masyadong nakakatiba yung mga middlemen. Hay. Sabi ni Danilo, nakauwi na daw si Marcos, pero ang tanong, ano kaya ang dala niya? Sanay na tayong wala. Sabi ni Dandan, dahil nga sa katamaran ng mga Pinoy, i-grab nila ito kasi bored sila tayo. Ano yun? Legit po ba yung survey na yan? Pulse Asia? Legit naman po ang Pulse Asia. Sabi ni Joy, sanay na tayo sa wala. Totoo naman, di ba? Kailan ba umuwi yan na merong totoong pasalubong sa atin? Dati sinabi niya, maghahanap daw siya ng foreign direct investments. O di sige, pag uwi niya, wala. Hanggang ngayon, wala. Puro pledges, puro pledges. Pero after so many years, pag-evaluate natin, wala ni isa sa mga pledges na yon ang natupad. Meron silang sinasabi na kunwari, meron daw magsiset up daw dito na isang communications company. Hanggang ngayon, wala ka pa rin nakikitang opening or anything like that. Pag sinasabi nila, tumataas yung rate o yung number ng foreign direct investments, kadalasan yun po ay mga nag-i-invest sa stock market natin. Nagpapasok, bumibili ng Philippine stocks. Pero karamihan ng mga ganon ay nagsispekulate. So yung mga hot money lang, pasok, labas. Ibig sabihin, bibili ng shares of stock. Pag tumaas, benta, unload ka agad. Those are still considered foreign direct investments.